The city called them monsters, but they were only the reflection of its sins. Rain slicked the cracked pavement of St. Harrow's, an ancient city cloaked in stone spires, bleeding neon, and buried secrets. Beneath its glossy skyline, the weight of centuries pressed against forgotten alleys where only whispers dared linger. It is here, in this shadow-soaked metropolis, that our story of sinners unfolds, a tale where guilt wears a human face, and salvation carries a knife. It begins in silence. A man, dressed in torn clerical robes, staggers through an abandoned cathedral. His name is Elias Gray, once a celebrated priest, now a fugitive whose sermons were silenced when 6 parishioners turned up dead, crucified, their mouths sewn shut with black thread. The press called him the Butcher of Redemption. But Elias claimed innocence, and more disturbingly, claimed the killer was still inside the church. Watching. No one believed him. No one except a disgraced detective with too much blood on his hands to fit in polite society. Detective Rowan Vale, suspended for planting evidence years ago, is yanked from his alcohol-laced purgatory by a cryptic message: the 7 sinners must fall. Start with the priest. The envelope contains a photo of Elias holding a blade and a Bible, his eyes hollow, as if he's peered into something vast and unforgiving. Vale, intrigued by the echo of his own sins in this man's gaze, follows the trail. Their meeting isn't friendly. Elias, emaciated and paranoid, pulls a broken cross like a dagger when Vale finds him holed up in the catacombs beneath St. Harrow's. But instead of attacking, he pleads for help. He speaks of visions, 7 people marked by an ancient curse, each embodying one of the deadly sins. They're being killed one by one, and the city itself is the executioner. Skeptical but curious, Vale digs deeper. The first victim, Gluttony, was a corporate kingpin known for his food empire and exploitative labor practices, found bloated in a vat of his own processed sludge. Lust, a social media influencer with millions of followers and just as many enemies, was discovered drowned in a heart-shaped tub, her body covered in lipstick messages: see me, love me, hate me. The killings are elaborate, ritualistic. And whoever is orchestrating them seems to have access to more than just knowledge. They seem to know the deepest shame of each victim. Pride, a retired general turned nationalist preacher, is next. During a rally, his pacemaker was remotely hacked, stopping his heart as a drone played a recording of him ordering the massacre of innocent villagers years ago. The message was clear: your sin finds you. Vale begins to believe Elias, but questions linger. Why was the priest spared? Elias insists he was supposed to be the first, but he repented. Violently. In his own twisted form of penance, he had carved passages from the book of Job into his own flesh. Whether madness or martyrdom, Vale isn't sure. As they hunt the next sinner, Greed, an AI mogul with more lawsuits than scruples, they're intercepted by a masked figure calling himself Absolution. He speaks with a synthetic voice and claims to be merely a vessel for a greater will. Absolution escapes, but not before leaving behind a blood-scrawled map marked with a date, October 13th. 6 days from now. Each day brings a new death. Envy is a political aide who leaks scandals to ruin her rivals. She's found impaled on a spire of shattered trophies, every award she stole credit for. Wrath, a former boxer turned underground enforcer, is found bound in the center of a burning ring, his fists nailed to the floor. By now, the media has gone feral, calling the killer a moral crusader, a ghost, a god. Conspiracy theories surge. Elias and Vale, both fugitives now, hole up in an abandoned asylum where Elias once worked as a volunteer chaplain. Here, they find files. Sealed psychiatric records. Every victim was once a patient, including Elias. It turns out Elias had created a therapy group called the Circle of Atonement. The goal was to face past sins through guided confessions. But someone recorded these confessions, and turned them into death warrants. The therapist behind the program? A woman named Dr. Mara Kestrel, believed to be dead after a suspicious clinic fire years prior. But there are rumors. A woman matching her description seen near the crime scenes. A whisper of resurrection. Then comes the final revelation: the last sinner is Vale himself. Flashbacks flood the screen, Vale, during his early career, framing an innocent man to protect a crime boss who had dirt on his past. The man he framed? Mara Kestrel's brother. Driven to suicide after conviction. Elias, now weeping, reveals that everything led to this. You were always the endgame. Absolution returns, this time unmasked. It is Mara, burned, rebuilt, and reborn in vengeance. She believes Vale is beyond redemption. Elias begs her to spare him, saying that exposing the truth is greater justice. But Mara is unmoved. She sets fire to the asylum, locking them in with one final test. Vale has a gun. One bullet. If he kills Elias, she'll spare him. If not, they both burn. The silence stretches. Vale lowers the gun. I deserve to burn, he says. But Elias takes the weapon and shoots himself instead, screaming, sin ends with sacrifice. The fire engulfs the asylum. Mara escapes, her mission incomplete but her soul conflicted. Weeks later, a news report airs. The killings have stopped. No more sinners. But one question remains unanswered: was Elias a saint, a lunatic, or the final sinner who chose to die so another might live? The camera lingers on a statue erected in the ruins of St. Harrow's Cathedral, an angel with broken wings, tears of ash carved into its face. Beneath it, a plaque reads, "We all sin. Some die for it. Others carry it."